Plarium is absolutely pumping out these fragment fusion champions. In fact, I believe we've had, what, 3 fragments in a row? Not that anybody's complaining, because the classic ones can be a little bit much, to be honest, but this one's really good. I'm happy about this. I haven't really said I've been happy about a fusion in quite some time, so let's take a deep dive, see what he does, see what he can do for you and your account. So let's get into it. What up, team? It's MurderInc here, back again talking about the fusion. We have a Bivald of the Thorn here. We have Spirit Affinity, 2 thumbs up. HP based champion, 2 thumbs up. Sacred Order, 1 thumb up. We have a lot of Sacred Order champions. We're definitely missing and lacking in some pretty obvious factions here, but that's besides the point. Let's talk about what he does, his skills, and we'll see where we can apply this to all of your accounts here. So first, we have an A1 Thorn Maul. Attacks one enemy, has a 30% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 1 turn. Also heals the ally with the lowest HP by 15% of the damage inflicted. The provoke debuff can in fact be placed even if it is a weak hit, so there's going to be some synergy, as I can briefly see from scanning this with weak hits, which is very good. Cross affinity can always be sometimes of a pain, especially in progression here, so I'm glad they did add that. Of course, this is just provoke, but what's a really strong provoke boss? That's going to be the Magma Dragon. Just in case, I don't think many people are, but just in case you have been struggling with that Magma Dragon in the Doom Tower, this guy's it. This guy's literally going to be it. He's the right affinity. Even if he wasn't, he has the weak hit synergy going on for him, so all of that good stuff for sure here. Moving on to the A2, we have a baseline 4-turn cooldown. Attacks all enemy 2 times. The first hit having a 75% chance of placing provoke for 1 turn. The second hit has a 75% chance of placing leech for 2 turns. Also places a 25% strength debuff on this champion for 2 turns. Would have liked to see on all champions, but it is what it is. I understand the provoke synergy. You want to protect the champion getting provoked. Strengthen's very good. If it was something like a defense up, defense down would have simply negated that, so I do like that it's strengthened. The next part here, as we can see, and as I kind of scanned and mentioned, the leech and provoke debuffs can be placed even if this attack lands as weak hits, so strong for progression. If you're early mid game, this is going to be one of the guys to snag for sure. This is, like I said, I wouldn't skip this. Usually most of the fusions are always good for early game. Mid games, where a lot of champions get a little bit, I don't know, iffy as far as if you should really go for them, but this guy's so far from just the A1 and the A2, that weak hit synergy. Now we're starting to get into benefits of the Hydra. The A1, not really beneficial for the Hydra because you cannot provoke it, so that's strictly going to be Magma Dragon and possibly Bommel with the heal. We'll see what the rest of his kit does. Leech could help in Bommel, but I don't know, we'll get into that when we get there. But with this A2 here, now we start getting into Hydra efficiency, how this can do well in the Hydra clan boss, because we have an AoE leech, which is going to be strong. Lots of times players struggle with slowly getting their health whittled down, not being able to have their healers keep up with everything. So now that this is an AoE, it doesn't matter if it's a weak hit or not, is going to be very, very strong here. Moving on to the A3 here, Briar Nexus, we have a 5-turn cooldown. Attacks all enemies, damage increases by 5% for each debuff on each enemy. So HP based champions can be a little bit tricky to get a lot of damage out of, and the fact that he's going to need accuracy on top of that, I'm not really sure how to think about this. I do like that there's passive damage stacking, which does alleviate some stress off of the gearing for the majority of the player base, which is who this would help. So that is definitely good. Also heals all allies by 20% of the damage inflicted and places a shield buff on them for 2 turns equal to 20% of the damage inflicted. This is good. Now, weak hits of course are going to affect this because it affects your damage. However, this is a really good skill here. Now we have a heal and a shield coming out, so Spider, hello. This can be very good in Spider progression, and I know lots of people do need a good Spider champion, because if you don't have someone like a Miscreated Monster, if you don't have someone like a Sir Nicholas, the early levels and stages of Spider can be very, very frustrating. So this guy, once again, going above and beyond most of the past fusions that I've seen as of lately for sure. So I do like this a lot. You're going to be stacking HP, crit rate as much as you can if you want to use it in the spider situation. If you don't, I still probably would go for crit rate, which does make the gearing a little bit harder, but as we just mentioned, the fact that we are going to get some additional damage multipliers based on the debuffs is a good sign. And even though I do not have the exact multipliers in front of me here, I know HP champions, it can be hit or miss. They can have really good multipliers or really bad ones, so we will see on the potential of this shield buff and the potential of the heal that can happen from 20% of the damage. Moving on to the passive, decreases the damage taken by allies from enemies under provoke debuffs for 15%. So unfortunately, if you're looking for this for Hydra, this is not going to affect it. I think it would have been really good if they added provoke and leech debuffs. That way it would apply to Hydra as well. Maybe they thought it was going to be too strong for a fusion. I don't know, that's the only thing I can think of, but provoke as it is, you can use it in any other content pretty much besides clan bosses, so having a 15% damage reduction is not bad at all. Rounding everything off with increases ally HP in all battles by 28%. So all in all, who should be going for this legendary? In my opinion, of course, if you're endgame, if you're a whale, you don't need me to tell you this, you're just gonna go for every champion regardless because it's easy. You don't know if they're gonna get buffed, blah blah blah. There's a ton of arguments there, so it's not even worth discussing. But if you're early game, mid game, and I would say entry level end game, this guy seems like a no-brainer. And as I've said for probably the 5th time here, this isn't something I say often, and lots of consideration was done before saying something like this, but this guy is, on paper at least, looking like a very strong overall champion, someone that most people are going to go for. And I do have to give credit where credit is due. Plarium did a fantastic job on this current fusion because there are a few flaws in the kit as far as the passive that we did discuss here, but overall this is a fantastic champion, and honestly he looks pretty dang cool. So I do look forward to using this guy in game here, and hopefully once we get some news as far as the updated Hydra loot, what they're going to do to make it more engaging for players, that's going to give this guy a lot more time to shine, and people will actually consider building him for Hydra and not just every other aspect of the game here. So what do you guys think? Are you going for this? Or are you going to pass it? Do you already have someone who does this for your team? Let me know in the comments. I'm pretty sure if I had to guess, most people would say, yes, this guy looks pretty good, I am going to go for it, but I could be wrong, so definitely let me know below. That's going to conclude this video. As always, guys, if you enjoyed this content, smash that like button, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and I will see you all in my next upload.